What's up, everybody? It's your boy Coach T. Thought I'd come on just a little bit early. Very excited to talk Bears football for y'all. Y'all know what's going on in Bears land. That's right. A couple days ago, it was a couple days. You know what I'm saying? Not yesterday, day before yesterday. Yesterday, I don't know what day it was. That's right. The Bears part ways with offensive coordinator Luke Getsy. So Luke Getsy is gone. I think the first domino has dropped, right? The first chess piece is moved in what we agree that's probably going to be a long off season for Bears fans. We're going to talk about that and so much more. Y'all stay tuned in, tap in. It's going to be a long conversation. I just want to have a conversation with Bears fans, let y'all know what I'm thinking. That and so much more. Let's get it. Y'all know what's next. Cue the intro, maestro. Let's go. Contra.
Life like chess, move to pieces, you know I roll in silence. On the road to them Benjis, I feel my teeth with diamonds. I'm high as fuck in the sky, you would've thought I'm pilot. I'm from Chicago, it get ugly, fill the streets with violence. Life like chess, move to pieces, you know I roll in silence.
Past, present, future. We bear down.
And just like that, we're back. I'm your boy, Coach T with Chicago Bears 360. Listen, I've been away for a while. I haven't done the show since Sunday. Got a lot going on. I actually interviewed on Tuesday, man. Great interview, 3 hours long on the board with Coach, talking ball, wanting to know, talking scheme, talking about run schemes, run concepts, talking about pass concepts, motions, shifts, training or practice schedules, man, all the stuff that I love about coaching football, man. It was a good reminder of all the works that goes into planning for a week, a game, offensive football. It doesn't matter what level you coach at, man. You coaching at high school level, man. It's a 6-7 day a week job, man. You know what I'm saying? You still putting in hours if you're doing it the right way. This so happened to be a state championship runner-up team that I interviewed for a position for. So I think it went well, man. We'll see how it goes, man. You're gonna keep our fingers crossed, man. But either way, man, as you come back in, do me a favor, man. Run those likes up. I'm about 5 or 6 subs away. 5 or 6 subs away from 2,400. Listen, man, if you hanging out in the channel, man, in the comments, and you haven't subbed to the channel, man, come on, bro. What are you waiting on, man? I don't know who all you are, man. Let's get us to 2,400. Why not? You know what I'm saying? I got a bunch of watch hours to go before we can remonetize the channel again. So I'm looking forward to doing that over the summer as well, hitting that milestone. But other than that, we do it for the love of it, man. I would be doing this anyway because I love watching film. I love ball. You know what I'm saying? I love breaking down film. And speaking of which, you know what I'm saying? The Bears actually reached out and requested an interview for Shane Waldron of the Seattle Seahawks, former offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks. Um, I'll talk about that, specifically about how I think that's a fit. But if you want to get a jump start on that, do me a favor, because if y'all remember about a month ago, I did a head-to-head comparison between Luke Getsy and Shane Waldron's play script, their first 15 scripts, their first drive scripts. We did a head-to-head comparison, breaking down on the film. I actually got a chance to go back and watch what I said about Shane Waldron last night. It was late last night. Got a chance to go back and watch and see what I had to say about him after watching some highlight reels for Seattle's to see if it was consistent with what I was saying back then too. And it's pretty much all intact. We're going to talk about that and so much more, man. Again, you know, we had the pressure after the announcement of the coaches being fired, the offensive staff being fired. We had the press conference with Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus, and also a press conference with Kevin Warren. And that one is the one I wanted to start with because, you know, for all intensive purposes, I thought it was a very good press conference. It's very corporate-y. For somebody that works as in senior leadership in the corporate space myself, you know what I'm saying? I recognize the tenor and the a way of communicating and the style of communication. I try to stay away from that stuff as much as possible when I'm not at work. But yeah, I recognize, hey, this is laying out the vision and the strategic direction for the company per se, even though it's a football franchise, it's still a company. And what they want to do as far as and the atmosphere they want to create, the culture they want to create, and also answering questions about the stadium and negotiations and how that's going. I have complete faith and confidence in Kevin Warren as a president and CEO of an organization. And then also as somebody that knows enough about football to perhaps be dangerous to influence certain decisions from a football operation standpoint, right? To have enough influence in the football operation space to be able to provide valuable input, but especially as a CEO of the business operation side and making sure that, you know what I'm saying, they put the best situation, the best product out there for the fans. Me, for one, I am biased. I'm partial. I hope they keep the stadium near Lake Michigan on Lake Shore, somewhere in that vicinity of downtown. It's just like Kevin said yesterday, that's probably it's arguably one of the best downtowns in all of United States. I think, you know what I'm saying? Again, I'm biased, partial to it. I think Atlanta is one of the better ones out there too. I've been visited, besides Singapore, some of the other places I visited in my lifetime, Atlanta, Chicago. I'm not a big LA guy, not a big New York guy. Um, Stuff like that. So, those are two of my favorites. I just so happened to live in both cities at one point. But either way, you know what I'm saying? I think the business of the Bears is in good hands. I hope we stay on Lake Michigan because I just like going to when I travel up, I like going to the area and going to restaurants and going to Bears games out there. It's going to change the flavor a little bit, right? And I hope they find a way, even though, you know what I'm saying, I know they're gonna make it an indoor stadium. I hope they find a way to incorporate the outdoor elements of Soldier Field as well, right? Yeah, we don't want to be in the sub degree weather, right? The 0 degree weather, but I hope they find a way to keep the outdoor elements part of the stadium too, give you outdoor views and things like of that nature, right? Yeah, get us out of the cold, make it indoor, but make sure we still have grass is one. They pulled that out in Las Vegas where they built a little turf thingy majiggy down in Las Vegas. And even though they have an indoor stadium, they still have this retractable subfloor grass operation going on there. So that part of it, for player safety, but also give us views of the lake and all the ambiance of downtown and all that good stuff. But the other part of that is I just thought that part it wasn't needed. You know what I'm saying? I thought they could have did that in a couple weeks, man, because there's so much football news, which I want to get to next, because I think it's the important part. So of course we fire Luke Getsy. Ryan Poles comes out and answers a bunch of questions about, the firing of the staff, the direction of the football team, very coy about, you know what I'm saying, the direction and the decision that everybody's looking for as far as the quarterback is concerned, whether they're going to keep Justin Fields or whether they're going to look in the draft and draft somebody with that first overall pick. You know what I'm saying? A lot of conversation about the slippage, if you will. I don't know if it was you call that qualifies as a Freudian slippage or if it was just a slippage, but the slippage about the 4 quarterbacks with Courtney Cronin. Shout out to her for following up, catching that one, and then following up on the actual statement. Either way, I don't think it really qualifies or identifies what direction we're gonna go anyway. As much as Bears fans on either side of the argument for Justin Fields or Caleb Williams would like to take and hang on to any hint of evidence that we're doing one thing or the other. What I do know is that what's in the best interest of the Chicago Bears is to not tip their hand as to what decision they're making, right? We need to try to get as much and keep and maintain as much negotiating leverage for Justin Fields and or for that draft pick as possible. So if he did say these four quarterbacks, I don't think it really tips your hand from a business strategy or business strategist standpoint, because what you're saying is I'm actually looking at these quarterbacks so you can drive up the value for Justin Fields if they know that it's the possibility of a trade, and or you can drive up the value for the pick, meaning, hey, I covet this pick, I covet the pick, I want to perhaps keep it, and I can drive up the value either way. Either way, you drive up the value of the pick. And I believe, fans would do good to understand this is about chess at this point. You have to do everything between now and draft time to drive up the value of that pick so you get the most value out of that pick. Now, that's that part. Uh, that's that part of it, right? I know a lot of fans are displeased with the decision to keep Matt Eberflus, right? And I was tweeting about that earlier, Xing and tweeting, I don't know what we call it nowadays. I was tweeting about that earlier, right? And this is my take on it, my perspective on it. Um, and I think it's a little bit of victim of the moment with a lot of fans, particular. So there's a similar kind of flavor, a kind of feel that I feel like that's floating around Bears fandom, right? And I could be wrong. I'm free to be, I'm open to be wrong about this, but it feels kind of like the same, uh, you know, grass is greener mentality from the fan base when it has to do with when it had to do with the coaching situation as it does with Caleb Williams, right? It's Jim Harbaugh won a national championship on Monday, right? Jim Harbaugh's all over the TV, on repeat, on cycle, on ESPN, Fox Sports, a major outlet. You know what I'm saying? He's a former Chicago Bear. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff. And I think Jim Harbaugh is a tremendous football coach, a tremendous football coach. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Jim Harbaugh's style of play, going back to the Stanford days, when he was lining up in multiple tight end sets. Y'all know how I feel about bully ball, two tight ends, three tight ends, lining up and running it down people's throat and making them adjust to us just being bigger, badder, and tougher than you, all that good stuff. I remember when Willie Taggart, and I met Willie Taggart quite a few times on recruiting visits when he came to our school to recruit players. He actually recruited one of my NFLers by the name of Bruce Hector. I believe Bruce plays for the New York Jets right now. Bruce Hector, Willie Taggart recruited Bruce Hector, and Willie Taggart is a disciple of Jim Harbaugh. He's very much in the philosophy of that style of play, right? And so that's how I came to discover the schematic uh, systems that he ran, because I started studying a little bit of Willie Taggart and recognized through the coaching tree that Willie Taggart was connected to Jim Harbaugh. So I love him as a coach. I think he's a fantastic coach. He took that to Michigan, that same style of play. So if you watch the game on Monday, Sharon Williams runs the same stuff, and it's great. It's great football. Will it fit in Chicago? Absolutely. It would absolutely fit in Chicago. But out outside aside of the football side of it too, you know what I'm saying? My day job kicks in, and as the businessman, as a leader in corporate spaces, I have to think about how you build companies, how you build organizations, right? Major Fortune 500 corporations. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna post my LinkedIn, but I work for Disney corporate, McDonald's corporate, Chase corporate, the company I'm at right now. And how you build these major companies is by casting the vision, coming up with a strategic direction. And what you do is you treat them like big ships. You know what I'm saying? Big. When I was in the Marine Corps, we called the big aircraft carriers and the LHDs, the big fleet ships. And as you're steering these major organizations, you know what I'm saying? You can't make wide sweeping changes if you want stability, if you want to really be able to measure or get the ship going in the right direction over time. You know what I'm saying? A small correction makes a big impact on those ships. So when you make large sweeping changes in those organizations like that, they have the potential to shipwreck your whole organization. So you have to be careful, right? And there honestly there was nothing to warrant the fire to me. You set out on a mission. You had a direction, you had a vision for a complete teardown. You did that. You reset the financial books. You made that happen. You did it successfully. You navigated a teardown season um, with 3 wins, and then you came back. And although it wasn't the quality of, at least on the offensive side, the quality of football we were expecting to play, you still somehow, amongst all that turmoil, especially with the coaching staff, um, you managed to more than double your win total, right? And a lot of people will say, well, you know what I'm saying? Coach Eberflus was responsible for hiring the coordinators in those situations, and you're absolutely right. But also, we have to think about the order of operations in which all that happened. I think um, it was a little bit mangled, if you would, if I had to borrow a word or find a word for it, right? I'm not sure about timeline of everything, and that they made sure they were doing things kind of like in a sequential thing, right? Kevin Warren came on last, right, from the committee. You know what I'm saying? Ryan Poles was hired within days, I believe, of Matt Eberflus, or at Matt Eberflus within days of Ryan Poles. Like that whole timeline was a little bit mangled. And I'm not confident that they took their time or took the time they should have in that situation. I believe we got the right GM, but I don't know that they took their time and really figured out, okay, you know, what style of play we want to play, right? What are we really looking to do at the head coaching position? I think they had an idea, but I think they went with the best candidate at the time. That part is a little bit foggy to me. The part that kind of bugs me, and you guys know where I'm going next. The part that bugs me the most about last year's hiring process is with the coordinators. And that part I put fully in the lap of Matt Eberflus, right? With some caveats, right? With some caveats. I don't know that these guys weren't force fed to Matt Eberflus the way I feel Matt Eberflus might have been force fed to Ryan Post. That's just my opinion on it. I'm leaving room for debate. This is not a schematics conversation or claim to be an expert on what happened. This is just how I feel about it. I think it was a little bit rushed. It was a lot of bit rushed. You know what I'm saying? Especially from a coordinator standpoint. And the reason why I say that is even at the high school level on Tuesday, I did a 3.5 hour interview where I was required to get on the board, get on the whiteboard, and draw up your run concepts. What do you ask questions, specific questions about what do you believe in philosophically about the run game? What do you believe in philosophically about the pass game, right? Do you coach one style of quarterback? You know what I'm saying? Can you coach a pocket quarterback, dual threat? What do you prefer? What do you prefer in run concepts? Had the whole conversation about gap power, you know what I'm saying? Counters, gap power concepts, zone concepts, and how I do that, how I counter off. Spend at least 2 hours on the whiteboard, volleying back and forth schematic questions about how, you know what I'm saying, I approach a game plan and week practice schedules, uh, you know, basically Sunday through Friday. You know what I'm saying? Start with film sessions on Sunday, all the way through the practice schedule, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Walk through schedules on Thursday, pregame meal, preparation, pregame preparation, the ability to coach the other coaches and lead other grown men, which is a part of it, right? Because you have to lead your assistant coaches and all that stuff. 3.5, 4 hours almost, probably longer than that. I'm just probably shorting a little bit. Either way, I don't think that level of due diligence, in my opinion, was done because that's how you get there. That's how you would have found out that Luke Getsy wasn't prepared to do what Matt Eberflus called out in the press conference. One of the things he called out to me, which was a glaring shot at his preparedness, was his ability to coach the coaches. That's one of the things that Matt Eberflus said, and that's an underrated part of it because your coaches, your assistant coaches, your position coaches, as an offensive coordinator, they protect you from yourself. You have to put them in positions to help you become successful. You have to insulate yourself with the right talent around you that'll protect you. And you can't go out and get these novice guys that can't challenge you in the coach's room and challenge your game plan and your plan of attack, that they don't have a voice, that they don't have input. You got to have guys in positions, particularly analysts, to look at your own tendencies and your own bad habits as an offensive coordinator and play caller, somebody that you rely on to call you out, even within your own group, right? Maybe not in front of the group, but somebody that can double check your work. So somebody that can look at your tendencies and what you're doing. Also, a guy that can look forward to upcoming opponents and seeing what they do and how that matches what you do well and what you don't do so well. So you have to be able to insulate yourself with guys that protect you. And I just don't get I never got the confidence that that was the case with Luke Getsy. It was just it was very novice. It was very amateurish. Um, from the whole operations, man. It just didn't feel right for somebody that loves um that whole regiment, right, if you will. I told the coach on Tuesday, I said, Coach, listen, if I start sweating with excitement, if I start sweating profusely during this interview, don't think it's because I'm nervous. I'm actually sweating like a racehorse does when they're getting ready to run because I get that excited about coaching ball. By the way, let me bring my guy Steve O in here. I'm just running my mouth. I didn't even recognize he was in here. What up, Steve O? Come on in, bro.
What's the word, coach?
I'm good, man. Just having a dialogue with the people, man, before I get into the meat and potatoes of what I really want to talk about. But yeah, I just felt like it never felt right. Going back to last season, that the guy had checked all the boxes as to prepare you for all the responsibility that goes along with that position. And somebody tweeted, I don't know what her name is, but she tweeted, guys, after Luke Getsy got fired, she tweeted, guys, just be mindful that, you know what I'm saying, this is a man with a family and kids and all that other stuff too. And I get the sentiment. I totally get the human aspect of it and the sentiment of it as well. But listen, if you were up in Green Bay and all that time, right? Listen, wherever I go, I'm stealing stuff. I'm stealing. I'm a thief. I'm stealing practice schedules. I'm stealing practice scripts. I'm stealing game plans. I'm making double copies of everything and throwing it in my little box throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I get fired or let go, I'm taking my little box with me. And if I get another job, I want to be able to dust that stuff off, like practice schedules, practice scripts, game plans, all that stuff. And you mean to tell me you was up there all that time and you know what I'm saying? It doesn't seem like you took away the season, the moment, and you're preparing. You know you want to be an offensive coordinator one day. You know
Yeah.
you in the NFL. You know you might get a call, and to be ill prepared, you know what I'm saying, is you know what I'm saying? You don't wait until you become the head man, you know what I'm saying, to prepare and get yourself together. So I never felt comfortable with it, Steve O.
He
Um, go ahead.
I was just about to say, like, I didn't feel comfortable with it from Jump Street because the man didn't even steal from himself. Like, how you not go back to something? Okay, like, how many times did we see a play successful go right and it was, okay, it was a drop, or maybe just to let it out just a little too far.
Yeah,
He never goes back towards it,
yeah,
or just mix it up a little bit to make it look slightly different.
yeah,
Which is crazy to me because he loves to redo anything else that he does that don't work.
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like I always knew, especially when the hiring, um, I always had in the back of my mind, but it was confirmed as we go on along, and then 2 years later, and they explained why they let him go. Like they really hired him just because of the scheme they was running the Green Bay and
the
to
association.
yeah, and to what Flus was basically is like, I want that dude because I couldn't. I that was my most difficult people to beat. I had the most trouble beating that scheme.
Yeah,
So I want somebody with that potent offense, and I'm gonna pick him instead
yeah,
of doing your due diligence. Actually realize that okay, dude, this dude that we talking about that's running this scheme. A, is he running the scheme? Did he teach the scheme?
right.
Two, do he understand the
Yeah,
what he's gonna do, the ins and out of it? If this gonna work, what's his contingency when it that's not gonna work? Like there is no way you sat there and had a real conversation. Because, like you said, I to me, I've always thought when they're asking you, especially like when you're going through, when they ask you to be a coach, they're going to have a whiteboard in the room, some
yeah.
form of way.
Put
They're
them
going
on
to
the
ask you
board.
questions because
Yeah,
they do the same thing to quarterbacks when they're trying to figure them out.
yeah.
So, of course, they're going to do
So,
it,
so
bro.
really, what he said was, teach me. This is what he said to me too. He said, teach me your stuff. Draw it up, and I want you to teach me, because essentially that's what makes a good coach. You're a great teacher. If you can't
Mm-hmm.
communicate your concepts to me, you won't be able to do it. You won't be able to communicate them to players. So teach me what you believe in philosophically. And at the great opportunity that was there for Flus, and this is what I put the blame on him for, is the opportunity was there. If you had him on the board, then you could have asked questions through your defensive philosophy and scheme and said, okay, if I run this and I respond to this play, this run concept, are you going to counter this? What are you going to do about this? And at the moment you seen the dude didn't have answers, you'd have been like, oh, thank you. Have it. And all of us been on one of those interviews before. We'd be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? It's real short. Thank you. Have a nice day. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It was great talking to you. We'll be in touch with you. We'll be in touch with you.
We'll be in touch, right?
We'll be it just so that part I'm not absolving from. I put him in his lap, but at the same time, we cannot have, and I realize this is NFL, there cannot be a zero defect mentality, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you one. I'm gonna give you one. I'm gonna give you one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like I'm giving Ryan Poles one on the trade situation with Chase Claypool, even though I felt like if we revisit that whole time, now we realize Chase wasn't lying though. Are you using you properly? No.
Right,
Nope. I just want to at this point. Y'all not using me
right,
anyway. You know, so Chase wasn't lying, but I'll put that in the lap of Ryan and say, hey, you know what I'm saying? That's on you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You should have did deep on the character stuff and blah blah. But I understand the desperation to get Justin some weapons. But I still applaud them that this was the
sure.
right thing to do. It was the right thing to do. And I think me and my boy Jay was talking on, they fired him what, Tuesday morning or
Yeah,
Wednesday? Yesterday.
yesterday
Either
morning, Wednesday
yeah,
morning.
it was yesterday. My days mixed up. We were talking at night, bro. I think it's gonna be tomorrow. I said if they do anything, it's gonna be tomorrow. Sure enough, we woke up to the news. Your bud is out of here. So
Mm-hmm.
here's the part that I want to add to that too. I want y'all to keep track of this very, very important point. That watch this. Not many people gonna tell you on Bears DIY Media gonna talk about this. This very important part of this whole firing situation. They fired all of the offensive staff except for the
Two people.
offensive line coach and the tight ends coach. Now, somebody said they did let the tight ends coach go. Somebody said they didn't. So
They
I don't.
didn't.
Well, they didn't. So it's the tight ends coach offense. So Simo is still around. That is a very important part of this conversation that
Uh-huh.
we're gonna segue into, that I want to talk to you guys about, because nobody else is gonna talk about the importance of the decision to keep the offensive line coach, especially if this holds true through these interviews, meaning they continue to have these conversations with these offensive coordinators and SEMO sticks. What does that do for this offense? What does this do for this football team if you're maintaining the offensive line coach, right? What advantages, and y'all put that in the comments what y'all think, what advantages schematically, because remember, play design starts with the offensive line.
Uh-huh.
Everything, but before you draw up any fancy route concepts, running motions, about it starts with
Protection.
how are we going to block it, whether it's run or pass. It starts with how
Uh-huh.
we're going to block it. So I'm leading the witness with this in the chat. I want y'all to think about. I'm not gonna go all in on what I believe it means to me, but what do you believe that's going to be the future, perhaps, of this franchise? Right? Even the quarterback situation, when you keep the offensive line coach, right? That's the shortest path to me, Steve O. That's the shortest path to keeping the offense, at least the terminology, right,
Uh-huh.
the same as possible. That's to me, that spells that we're not doing a total reset on the offense altogether.
Uh-huh.
Also, two key relationships that you need to pay attention to as it pertains to SEMO. SEMO was in Washington with the Kyle Shanahan group, Kyle Shanahan coaching tree. He was also coached with Kyle Shanahan in Atlanta, right? Because we're going to talk about OC candidates during the show today. So
Uh-huh.
you keep the offensive line coach in place and the tight ends coach, because I'm gonna tell you how it usually goes. Steve-O, O-line coach and the tight ends coach. The tight ends usually has tackles and tight ends, right?
Uh-huh.
And your O-line coach, you usually split them. O-line coach will have centers and guards. Tight ends coach usually has tackles and tight ends, right? You split
Yep.
them and y'all work different techniques, and then y'all come together as a group and y'all work together. So what that's telling me is it's leading towards, what's the tea leaves telling me? It's telling me that the run concepts are not going to change. The O-line calls and the running concepts are not going to change. What now? I'll say this: they will change, but they will change in a good way. If they change, is they'll change in the way that we're actually going to start running what we're supposed to run. Meaning we're going to run outside zone, inside zone, power concepts, and what else I'm thinking? We're going to do the stuff that we were said or we advertised 2 years ago that we was actually going to do. How am I off my rocker? Am I going too far off the range right there, Steve?
So no, I was just about to correct myself. Wait, so I think what people got confused in, this is I think the assistant tight end coach was a let go. Still think the tight end coach is still here. I'm trying to double check. If Dre, because Jim Dre is the tight end coach, correct?
I never knew his
So
name.
I think his name is Jim Dre. So I'm trying to double check because I'm pretty sure we kept the online coach and the tight end coach.
Yeah.
I think.
So
I
what is
want to
that?
say so.
So what does that do for me? Again, philosophically, it brings continuity to that offensive line. It's making sure that
Yeah.
the guy that was responsible for teaching them the primary concepts of the offense is still the same guy, right? But what does
Uh-huh.
Semo believe in? He believes in both inside, outside zone, gap, power concepts. The language stays the same, right? You know what I'm saying? A double, a duo block, a double to climb, a double, whatever language they have, whatever they have for, you know what I'm saying, picking up blitzes, all that stuff stays the same. The line calls If they slide and right, pass protection, it's still a rain call. If they slide and left, it's still a lightning call. All that stuff stays the same. So whoever the OC is, all he has to do is really come in, Steve-O, and
with the
install,
detail.
do the details. But watch this: install his passing philosophy, his passing game, his route concepts. Right? What did we complain about the most about Luke Getsy?
His route concepts.
I'm listen. I'm just saying, y'all don't have to listen to me. I'm just saying.
And that was the funny thing, Coach. They was trying to, like, you know how the media does, especially well, when you listen to the pressure, you listen to what you want to hear. And it's like, no, I heard what they said.
Right.
I'm hearing what they're saying. And then not only that, we pay, as people that watch football, we pay attention to trends and tendencies. And we just know the tendencies of this team. And if you pay attention to football, you know the tendencies of football. If you're getting rid of the whole offensive staff, but you keep it somebody like the O-line coach and a tight end, that means you're trying to keep somewhat continuity. A, B, the scheme ain't changing. It won't change. That would be stupid if you was gonna do that. So the scheme is changing. And 3, I was saying, look like the quarterback ain't gonna change.
Right. We gonna get into that. We gonna get into it in a minute, right? Watch this though. I'm gonna tell you why, right? The funny thing that came out of Tuesday's interview, right? Here it is. I haven't been on the sideline since 2017, 2018, right? I'm nervous because I'm like, you know what I'm saying? What we gonna talk about? You know what I'm saying? What we gonna talk about? Steve-O, it's the same stuff. I don't know this man for Adam. I don't know this man from Adam. I don't know the head coach. I don't know the current OC from Adam. And it's, hey, what are we running? Oh, you know what I'm saying? What do you like to run? I like to run gap power concepts. I like power. I like counter. I like inside zone, outside zone. This is how I block it. This is what I call the technique. And it's crazy because for outside zone, I have there's 3 B words, right? You teach the technique, you teach the running back, right? I call it break it, bang it, bend it, break it, bang it. He had 3 words, B words that were totally different, but it was the same philosophy, right? It was the same. And so I say that to say this, right? In the run game in football, there's only so much you can do. You can't reinvent the game, bro. It's going to be outside zone, and I don't care what level it is. It's going to be outside zone, inside zone, power, counter. There's multiple kinds of counters you can run. You can run counter tray. You can run a guard, GH counter. You can run GF counter. You can run several kinds of counters, right? But it's only so much you can do. Run duo. You can run fold. You can run smash. You can run wham. It's only so much you can do. Football is what I'm saying. So if you leave SEMO in place, that takes care of the run game, right? All the new coordinator has to do is come in and say, what do you call this? Right? What do you call that? That's easier for him to learn, right? Now he understands all I got to do is come in, install the route concepts and teach the route concepts and get this passing game up to speed. And if that is the case, we need to put some respect on Ryan Poe's name. We need to put some. If they did that and that they were intentional about to do that, I got to drop a bomb on it, man.
It looked very intentional, Coach. Like I that's what I got from it, because it's like, okay, most people in this situation is just gonna clean house in general,
right?
But he sat there, and you could tell they took their time because, like you said, everybody is Black Monday. Everybody gone. Usually, he took 2 days. So that made me show like he probably had one session for one half of the season, the second half of the season, and he probably really looked at it and said, "Okay, it's a common denominator here."
Right.
It's clearly a common denominator here. The defense is getting right, even though most people is coming for the head coach. We not realizing that we're asking him to do something he didn't plan on doing. His plan was to be CEO, to overlook everything, but now he's play calling. It's his fault. because he picked the wrong people. We
Definitely your fault.
understand that. It's
Definitely
his
your
fault.
fault.
But
Is
at
it
the end of
is
the
it a
day,
is it a fireable offense though?
I wouldn't
That's
say that
that's an
because
honest that's an honest question.
it's his first time. It's
Oh,
his
okay.
first time
I'm
being a head
asking.
coach. No, because the reason I was the same people. Like I'm not the hugest Flus fan either,
Me
but
either.
before that decision was made, I had a come to Jesus moment. I was like, I can't sit here and give all this leeway for Justin and not give it for Flus.
Well,
I just
somebody corrected me because I remember the height of the fire flus, you know what I'm saying, movement during the season, right? And
yeah.
somebody was like, hold on a second, about 3 or 4 weeks after the whole Allen Williams, Trace Claypool thing, somebody, I don't know what show I was watching or if I was on a show, somebody came out and said, hold on a second, bro. This locker room ain't fractured. This locker
I
room
told
ain't.
you that. I
I
told you that.
don't know. Somebody said it. I was like,
I told you that because I remember I went on Bear Central because I was sitting there. I was like, it was really after that second game with Minnesota and we
mhm,
won. It was the way we weren't happy the way we won, but we won. And
right,
I was sitting here like, this man ain't lost the locker room at all.
right,
Like you could just tell, you can listen to him when he's saying his speech. I'm very big on body language. Everybody was looking at him, everybody was listening. They went off doing their whole thing. And when they broke together.
right.
And that's a key thing. So I was like, he ain't lost this locker room. You listen to how Sweat talk about how you feel about Flus. I'm here because of Flus.
Right.
Right? You tell Jalen Johnson, he love Flus. You hear Briscoe, he love Flus.
Yeah.
So I'm like, like halfway through this season, I was like, we ain't get rid of him. It don't make sense to.
So, and I'm guilty of this too. This is where I was wrong. We really took his lack of PR skills because that's really what it was.
That's really what it was.
His
Yeah, you told me that.
His lack of PR skills is what rubbed a lot of us the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? He's really terrible at the podium. He's terrible at the podium.
Very. He's
terrible with the media. I won't take that away from you. But if you're not losing that locker room, you had to take over the defense and y'all show flashes. Listen, guys, I said this about the Green Bay game all week, bro. Y'all can say what y'all want to say about the Green Bay game. It was that's the type of game you either win or lose ugly. It was not going to be. It was not going to be a Justin lights Green Bay up for 350, 4 touchdowns or whatever type of game. It's the second in a series of division matchup games. It was supposed to be a ugly win type of game, and we lost by 8. We lost by 8. The defense didn't stop them all night, but they only put 17 points on the board. Our standard is supposed to be 28 in a close division game. Oh, I'll say 21. We should have been able to put 21 points on the board in that game. We only lost by 8. I know it was the Green Bay Packers, and it felt like it was a 30-point blowout loss, but that wasn't the case. So I'm saying I don't see this is what because we were on the show on Sunday on Barroom Network, and my partner Danny, you know what I'm saying, we were discussing the whole Eberflus situation, and this is the take I'm always going to give you guys. I'm always going to say what I believe they're going to do in the building, regardless of my feelings about it. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about it. But also, that's what's real. Yeah, I feel like, oh yeah, Jim Harbaugh, get the name in here. Boom, let's go. That would be cool.
Beautiful.
That would be dope. But what do I feel is actually going to happen in a building? That's how I feel like I get you guys to tune in. I break down the film and respond and build my takes off of the film because I want to provide as close as possible to you guys what I think is actually going on or happening as possible. That's why I said this whole SEMO situation is a big deal. This is a big deal. You know what I'm saying? And you're not going to hear a lot of people talk about that because if you don't understand the play design and the schematics of a offensive football play, how you define, y'all hear me talk about this all the time. Your offense is a vehicle. Your O-line is the engine. You know what I'm saying? And if your O-line is the engine, that O-line coach is your mechanic. He's the He's a high performance tuner. He's the guy that's gonna drop a free what do they call it, air overflow turbo
Overplay.
on it.
Yeah.
He the one that's gonna fine tune it. And not my dad's a mechanic. He the one gonna fine tune that and get it going the way it's supposed to be going. He's the guy. So if you don't fire the O line coach, the calls and all that stuff is centered around him. He runs the show. And I was saying this the other day. I think it was you. We was in the space of Steve. I said this. I said I could imagine. Now that I think about it, in retrospect, I can imagine Simo being in the room with Getsy, bro. Because I've been in them type of coaches' room before, and I imagine Simo being in that bit like, man, I can't stand this motherfucker.
For real.
I can't wait till they fire his head. Because you know what I'm saying? You know things that you think you're supposed to be doing, but sometimes when you working for a guy that, you know what I'm saying?
No, bro, I know so many times he was on that sideline that he was just like, why? What are you thinking right there? Like, you know, in that situation, you can't go to a coach in a game like, what are you thinking right there? That's gonna mess up his flow. You can't mess with him. Right. But like, it's just like he did so many things that, like, if he's in the wrong coaching style, like let's say Bill Belichick, first of all, his feelings would have been hurt because he would have checked that shit in the game. Right. Like, bro, I don't know what's wrong with you today. You'd have woke up on the phone. Your wife did something to you, but I don't need you to get it right because
or she didn't do something to you.
Or she didn't do something to you. I don't care. At the end of the day, I don't care. You just need to figure it out. Right. But I think this whole situation, it just kind of like I think what the problem is when, like, you gotta be in a locker room in some form of fashion in your life to kind of understand what the Bears mindset. Because I went through an experience where I was a basketball manager for my senior year. And you know, you was having little situations in the team where like the outside people would second guess and question the coach and be like, I don't know if he's the coach for us, he's the real thing. But I'm behind closed doors, it'd be like, bro, these dudes hang on every word he got like gospel. And that's the thing. Like, it dawned in my head when that situation happened back in high school, and I was sitting here like, dang, we kind of, I was the outside looking in person when it came to this. I didn't really understand. I didn't really do a clean deep dive in what's going on. So,
and like, those are opportunities too, by the way. You know what I'm saying? For those aspiring coaches out there on any sport, y'all gotta keep in mind those are opportunities too. You most of the time you're not gonna step in a situation where you're gonna get a stud, somebody that can you learn by
just being around.
You learn by being around. You learn by a guy jacking it up too. So you know what I'm saying? You learn either way. The most important thing is that you pay attention, right? But we've established a foundation for something that I want to build upon, Steve-O, right? We're keeping the O-line coach. Most of the concepts, calls are going to stay the same. Really, the only thing that's out there is for the new coordinator, come in and establish these passing concepts and get everybody up to speed on the same sheet of music. And I think that if they did that intentionally, that is genius to me. It's going to go one of those things that's unnoticed, and it raises my expectation level for whoever is the quarterback behind center moving forward, because they don't have the same timeline as a coordinator that's starting out new and fresh with an offense. It lessens the learning curve, and it should bring them up to speed a lot better. So I'm going to take that, and I want to talk coordinators, because I wanted to wait till the day's show and start talking about my list, but the Bears beat me to the punch for a change.
Yeah.
And actually requested to interview a guy. Right? I had a short list I was making up. The Bears beat me to the punch.
Yeah.
Who is it, Steve?
Shane Rogers was number one on my list, bro.
Talk to me.
He was literally number one on my list before the season even ended. And it was just because of the scheme he came from, the scheme he's running over there. And the main thing I looked at was, what is he simply asking Geno to do?
Right.
That was the main thing I was looking at, and the protection.
Can we pause on the fact that it's Geno?
It's Geno. and Geno had revamped his whole career. Even though they looking for another quarterback, he had a nice season. He had a very nice season. So, like, you look at the stuff he's doing with them, they're doing a lot of power. They're doing a lot of bootleg. But one thing I love about him, the feel of the game versus him and Getsy is totally different. It's completely different. You look at like that big I forget who they was playing. It was like a Thursday night game when they got that. It was against the Eagles. You look at that game, and I was just like, look at the feel of that game. Look at how he called that play. He called that play perfect at the perfect time, and it was a play he ran before. He knew it worked and it worked previously, but the dude was wide open, and it was one of the biggest plays for him. When what's the wide receiver out of Ohio State over there? Caught the game-winning touchdown.
Oh, here's the one I wanted to get to. I wanted to bring this one up. Now I'm listening to you. I wanted to bring this one up.
No, I'm trying to get in these numbers now. So we can show
2 seasons with the Seahawks, 2022. Geno Smith over 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 69% completion percentage. A good, decent to great quarterback in the NFL is going to give you anywhere between 69 and 70%. The average lifetime, I don't know if y'all knew this, the average lifetime for an NFL quarterback is like 57.2%. I looked at him a long time ago. Right, 69.8%. He gave you over 4,000 yards last year, over 3,600 yards this year, slightly down, 65% completion percentage. Right, this is after somebody had a chance to scout and understand what Seattle was doing the first year. They still were able to come back and produce 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Geno was. This is Geno Smith we're talking about. Wasn't Geno first? He wasn't first overall pick in his class. I believe he was.
Oh, yeah, he was out of West Virginia.
Yeah,
I believe so.
So that kind. What I'm getting to with this, right, is the less with more. The less with more part of it was what was appealing to me.
Actually, it's a second round pick.
All right. I stand corrected. Right. But the idea of producing less with more. Now, granted, it's Geno. He has your boy Tyler Boyd. Is it Tyler Boyd?
Lockett.
No. Tyler Lockett. Yeah. He has
DK.
He got DK and he got in Jigba.
Jackson Smith again. Yeah.
He got him. He got weapons.
Nice running back. Running back Kenny. He got Kenny back there.
He got backs.
Yeah.
But I also think Stain can get more out of DJ. He can get more out of, if he stays Mooney, he can get more out of, watch this, Valus. He can get more out of Cole Kmet. Because again, I challenge y'all to go back and watch my video where I did the head-to-head comparison with Luke Getsy and Shane Waldron. Everything made sense, bro.
So much sense.
It made sense. He ran the ball on downs you're supposed to run the ball on. He threw the ball on downs you're supposed to throw the ball on. I mean, this is all the most we're asking from you, right? He has some unique running formations that I was impressed with. He didn't just line up, even on his screen passes. He didn't just line up and throw screens, right? He had this cool way of getting to his screens, right? He didn't say, I'm just going to line up and run a screen and throw the ball out there. One play I was really impressed with, and this is the litmus test for me, right? As somebody that likes to steal plays from offensive coordinators, how do you get to what you're getting to? He had one screenplay where he faked that toss that we hate so much from Gunn, right?
I know what you're talking about, yep.
He faked the toss, but he ran the screen back to the other side. He's not sitting there and let you tee off on him like, being predictable. So I like that about him, right? So, of course, a name goes thrown out there. Bears Twitter gonna do what they do. You got Seahawks fans. Y'all can have him. Y'all can have him.
We'll take him too.
Oh yeah, I got something for y'all.
I'm about to say we'll take him too.
See. When you've been spoiled, it's like Packers fans were complaining at one point during the season. They wanted to fire Matt LaFleur. You know what I'm saying? It's
And
like, bro,
questioning their quarterback.
y'all been spoiled. So I got something for him.
Oh,
Let,
uh-oh.
let me take.
Not he brung out data.
I'm coming up. Hold on, Steve. Let me take us down for a minute,
Go on, do what you gonna do. Do
so
your
they
thing.
could take a look at. I want to let the people see it. Hold on a second. I wanted to take us down for a hot second. I'm gonna leave that in the background. Y'all see where Shane Waldron ranks a little bit above Matt LaFleur. So y'all can let Seahawks fans fool y'all if y'all want to.
And y'all see where Luke Getsy at last.
We not bottom three. He wasn't bottom three. He was actually above Matt LaFleur in terms of offensive coordinator rankings. Now, do I believe, I'm not stupid either, do I believe there's 16, 14 better offensive coordinators in the league than Matt LaFleur? I would question about 4 of those names that's on the list. That's up there. The guy in
Yeah,
Philadelphia,
yeah. I about
I
to say
don't
the
believe
guy
is
in
better than
Philadelphia,
Matt LaFleur. I
Todd
don't
Monken. Yeah.
I don't believe Todd
I
Monken is
like
better
Todd.
than. I like
I like
Todd.
him,
He good,
but I don't
but
think he
I
better.
think
Yeah.
but I think Lamar makes him look better than what he really is.
True. Joe Brady.
Joe Brady, I don't think Joe Brady's better than Matt LaFleur. I'm
Yeah.
just I'm just speaking on it. Hold on, Steve O. I want dang, I can't do this. Hold on a second. Let me see how I can do this smartly. Put us on the side. I need to learn how to work this stuff, don't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. One day I'm gonna
It
get it
should be
down.
it should be an option where you could put it lower it, but I don't know.
Yeah. Either way, you know what I'm saying? Let me see if I can manipulate this. That ain't working. I'll figure it out one day. I'm still new to the StreamYard family. Either way, I don't believe there's 16 to 14 better offensive coordinators than Matt LaFleur. At the same time, I would say that about Shane Waldron too. I'm not saying I'm selling out for Shane Waldron. I'm saying for the Bears organization, this is a great first swing. This is a great first swing. If this is your first swing, this is a great
Hey,
first swing.
I don't know if it's a home run, but it's definitely a double so far.
I think it's a great first swing. That's just my opinion on it. Based off of based off of the film, guys. Based off of the film. I watched additional film from Shane last night, and I thought he was amazing. I thought he was
Yeah.
amazing. Is he going to have his struggles? Does he check my box? This is my box. I want an experienced offensive coordinator with the right pedigree. Shane has been with McVay. I believe he's been with Kyle at some point. He's had 2. This is his second offensive coordinator stint. So he's not a novice to the game. He's not going to freak out like your boy Luke Getsy when it comes time to call plays on game day. His butthole is not going to pucker up, and he has experiences to draw on during game. Remember when it happened against this opponent 10 years ago where I messed up? This is the opportunity to rectify that. He has a toolbox. So I wanted a veteran offensive coordinator with diverse experiences, diverse offenses, the ability to adapt to everything that Flus called out was spot on. It was spot on for what they're looking for. I agree with that. So I
Mm-hmm.
made my list off of that, right? I made my list off of that. I'm gonna call out some of the common names you guys are gonna hear, the Bears Twitter, whatever, and I'm gonna let y'all know how I feel about it. I had their resumes pulled up, but we're just gonna talk about it, and we could disagree. We could disagree, Steve-O, right?
I'll pull up their resume too.
All right, cool. Let's cook. Let's cook. Greg Roman, I'll let you go first.
Nah. The only reason I think he a pretty good play caller, but I just think we're gonna lean heavy on running the ball too much with Justin, which we're already doing too much, and I just don't think the development that we want to get out of Justin we're gonna get under Greg. So that's really the main reason why I'm not the biggest fan of having Greg coming on.
That's why you my guy. I couldn't have said it better myself. Greg Roman name was thrown out there early on in the season as a possible candidate to replace Luke Getsy. I'm not on it because I believe one of the reasons why Greg is no longer in Baltimore is because his passing concepts weren't as uh they they
Potent.
they they weren't as potent, they weren't as mature as we
Yeah.
expected. And I think if we get Greg, we'll have a better run game. We'll have a better run game, but Justin Steele's gonna look bad. He's still gonna look bad.
Agreed.
And I don't like the idea that we don't have the luxury of waiting or giving a guy time to OJT this thing. It has to be a guy that we understand. He's got to hit the ground running. Now, could he have been studying all this time he took off, all that other stuff? But then it speaks to experience and actually doing it. You can study it in theory, but if you haven't had opportunity to actually call it while live
Right.
bullets are flying, I don't believe you. As Jeezy said, I don't believe you. We need more people.
We need more
So,
people.
should I say his name? I'm gonna go through the obvious. I'm messing around.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna do it like this. Clint Kubiak, San Francisco.
I like Clint. It's just I can't take. I need to do most tape and to realize what is him, if you know what
Yeah,
I mean. I don't know what exactly is him. Like when you under a coach like that great, it's hard to tell. A, are you really understanding and adopting his principles? Two, are you are you? Because to me, what makes Shanahan so great? Not only is he a great play caller, but the way he feels out the game. So, but I don't know. I think I like the Clint Kubiak. If we was together, I wouldn't be upset.
I'm almost there with you. Right. I like the
Yeah.
pedigree. I like the pedigree, but it's spot on. It's spot on. It's gonna be almost the same risk involved with.
Getsy, low
Now
key.
I'm gonna admit something. I wasn't dead wrong with Mike McDaniels from a philosophical standpoint, coaching philosophical standpoint. I was dead wrong on his level of maturity. His level of maturity. And actually that was confirmed last night when I watched Hard Knocks. Because shout out to Mike McDaniels, he's gotten over it. He's 8 years sober. He's 8 years sober, but
Mm-hmm.
he was a coaching party boy.
Yeah.
He was a coaching party boy. So I was concerned about his level of maturity and his fit for Chicago because we all know Chicago is a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
Harsh.
It's a little bit old school
Yeah.
in thought process. We're not necessarily a progressive city when it comes to you're talking about a coach that's gonna come in there with, you know what I'm saying, off whites and capris
And the
and
party is here.
and
He will
and,
be.
and Gazelle. You know what I'm saying? So if we're looking at it right here, your boy Clint Kubiak running down the resume. I looked at this last night and I pulled it. Last passing game coordinator at San Francisco, passing game coordinator at Denver, passing game coordinator. He's presently at San Francisco, 1 year at Denver, 1 year at the Vikings, uh 2 years at the
It
Vikings,
was like 2 years.
and wide
Actually,
receivers,
three. It was actually 3 years.
wide
He was like,
receivers coach.
yeah.
Now let me tell you what I would want out of him the most, right?
All right.
Would I necessarily want Clint's passing concepts out of San Francisco? And does that fit what I think Justin does?
Yeah, not kinda, but not. I don't know if it'll be
I
that exactly his strengths in terms of the passing
well,
wise.
here's the thing, right? So I don't like how, and I know I'm a victim of circumstance, a victim of the moment right here, but
Hmm.
I don't like how. I tell you what I love about San Francisco. I love their running concepts.
Yeah,
I love their running concepts. I like their passing concepts. I don't love them. I like their panic pot. I don't like how Baltimore was able to teach their defensive linemen off their linebackers, the defensive linemen to stop and pop, get their hands in the air, and it totally shut their offensive passing game down.
hmm
But I don't think Kyle had his best game calling that game either. So
Right.
That's
Which happens.
I
Right.
see y'all. I see y'all in the chat. I'm gonna pull up some of these names that y'all calling out too. I'm gonna pull up their resumes so I can see. So I'm I'm like you. I wouldn't be upset, but here's the other part, right? On his
Mm.
resume, it doesn't have offensive coordinator, and I'm concerned about
Yeah.
calling games on game day and experience, drawing on a library of experiences and failures and successes as a play caller. I'm concerned about that, guys. It's a lot that goes into the job. It's play designer, is installer, is game planner, and then you get to play caller. 4 pillars, right? So I'm a little less than enthused. That's just me. I love the
Yeah.
system, and I'm willing to be dead wrong on it. He come to the Bears and light it up. I'll be the first one to raise my hand
Hey.
and be like, I went to bed on that one. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I'm not married to my takes on it, but all I can do is go off the resume, right?
Like I just think it just you can't tell, and it's still you can question the experience level. So I wouldn't think nobody would kill us for that.
This is the one that everybody's gonna balk at and laugh at, but I'm putting it up anyway.
No, you should. They shouldn't laugh at if they actually did they research.
Little Mike, little
Yeah.
brother, Mike LaFleur,
Uh-huh.
Los Angeles Rams president, offensive coordinator. Now we know Sean McVay down there calling them plays. New York Jets offensive coordinator. By the way, man, Mike is only out of New York because your boy Aaron basically made way for his boy Paul Hackett to come in there and become the offensive coordinator.
Uh-huh.
And we all know where Paul Hackett ranked. Do I need to pull that metric back up?
No, they already seen it. They said he was right next to Getsy.
He right next to Getsy at the bottom. Mike was fired for it wasn't just cause for his firing. I'm just telling y'all. Passing game coordinator, passing game offensive coordinator, passing game coordinator at San Francisco. What I love about Mike's resume is he spent time at both LA and San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he spent 2 stints in San Francisco.
He did. Yeah, he was there for 2017, 2018 as the passing game coordinator and the wide receiver coach, and 2019 to 2020 and as the passing game coordinator.
This is what y'all need to pay attention to. Mike was with SEMO in Atlanta as an offensive assistant. Cleveland Browns, offensive intern. Davidson. So he didn't make the Redskins tour with SEMO, Kyle, McVay, and all them other. He met up with Kyle in Atlanta in 2015. That was a Super Bowl run year.
And then follow him to the 49ers.
Follow him to the San Francisco. 2 stints with San Francisco. He goes to New York, and then he goes back and gets a job in McVay. How y'all feel about Mike LaFleur in the chat? I like the resume. He got a chance to call plays in New York. I didn't think he was doing a bad job last year, but this is one of my prerequisite. You have to have call plays at some point. I'm just saying. How do y'all feel about Mike? I got him on my list. I want to know how y'all feel about him.
What you make a list of 3 or 5?
Yeah. I got my last final list, but I'm throwing all the names out there and getting through them.
Okay.
All right. So let me know how y'all feel about him.
Bellissimo said Clint Kubiak was with SEMO in Denver.
I saw that.
Pay attention to.
Yeah, I saw that. Here we go. Big popular name. Who's playing still right now? Here we go. Daryl Bevell.
Daryl.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and let y'all know. Daryl Bevell, along with Shane Waldron, are my top 2 candidates. They're mine. They don't have to be yours, but they're mine. Why? Daryl Bevell has a Super Bowl. He has a Super Bowl under his belt. Daryl Bevell is a quarterback's coach, passing game coordinator in Miami currently, right now, under Mike McDaniels. He comes out of that system. Darrell Bevel not only comes out of that system, he has time in Jacksonville as interim head coach. He has time as an offensive coordinator in Jacksonville. He
Yep.
has time in Detroit. He has
Yes,
another
sir.
stint in Detroit. Spent enough time in Seattle and in the Vikings. If Darrell has really caught hold of this Kyle Shanahan system while he's there, and he has this offensive coordinator and play calling experience, he checks my box. He checks my list as an because watch this. I've always said I wanted a veteran experience. I like the young guys. I ain't got, I tease them all the time, Steve-O.
Yeah.
But I want an experienced guy. I want a guy that got some scars on his armor, so to speak. How you feel about
Just,
Darrell Bell?
I was just about to say, just like you, they're 1 and 2, but I actually had Daryl Bebel as my number one, just because I feel like he got them. I'm always, especially if we keep, no matter what, I feel like our coordinator needs to be a vet. And not because I'm looking at age, I'm just like you said, I just looked at 4 teams in the last 20 years. He's been a whole offensive coordinator for. So
Yeah.
he didn't been in multiple situations with multiple teams where the bullets is flying and he had to make that call. And he got a Super Bowl off of it.
I'm saying,
So
man, him and Shane are my top two. I'm just saying with I like the diversity experience in offenses. And if we have a guy, if both our running backs go down, your whole offense don't shut down like after the Washington game this year. Hey guys,
yeah,
we gonna get. I
yeah.
said after that Washington game, both of your starting running backs down. You got to go into this game. In my mind, everybody's a running back. Your wide receivers are running back. Your tight ends are running back. You got to find a way to get a multitude of people carries, right? To subsidize the fact that your backs are down. I'm not going to put it on a young guy to carry the load of an NFL game. And then we know we didn't see that happen. All right. A mystery name, a wild card name. Let me see how y'all feel about this one. Anthony Lynn.
I know people gonna kind of get mad at that, but hey, Anthony was a big reason why that man down there and was tossing that thing the way he was. He really was. Like, if you really look at that man's like a lot of people gonna be like he got fired because he wasn't that good. I wouldn't say that. I think it was a multitude of reasons why he got fired. I liked a lot of stuff I seen him do with the Chargers, but like as you about to go into coach, the resume speaks for itself as well.
Yeah, I again, he's down in San Francisco right now as assistant head coach, running backs coach. So he would have those running concepts down. You have to understand those running concepts. Offensive coordinator in Detroit. Now, he was a predecessor to Ben Johnson. So he laid the foundation for that offense. And Ben Johnson came on his heels and made it what it is now. And that might have been because it's probably the same offense. It's probably his approach to it. He probably got run happy being a running back, or he got pass happy and throwing the ball over the field. I thought he did a good job in LA as a head coach because he was there. Yeah, he was there when Justin Herbert took off. That was a Hard Knocks year. I remember that.
Yeah. That's my whole thing. I feel like he got fired for other reasons. Like if there was other things wrong with that team that they didn't really address, and they like you already know, coach. This whole current market of football, they expect you to turn chicken shit into chicken salad, and that's not always the case in football, bro.
They expected yesterday too.
Right.
Stint in Buffalo as a head coach. New York. Listen, he checks my box as far as being in the system. I like being a veteran coach. I'm concerned about, and it's probably unwarranted. He would probably have to bring his quarterbacks coach with him, which was who, by the way, the next guy we're going to talk about. Who is his quarterback coach when they developed your boy Justin Herbert and got your boy Justin Herbert going after what's the quarterback in New York's name? That's the backup, the black kid.
In New York.
Yeah, in New York, the black kid that's a journeyman quarterback. He took up. He was there before Herbert took over.
Brissett? No, Brissett
No,
ain't in New York.
no.
Oh, Tyrod
Taylor. So this is the appealing part for Anthony Lynn. Anthony Lynn is in Kyle Shanahan's system now. The running back coach, this, that, and the other. But Anthony Lynn was on the staff, I believe, if I recall correctly, the quarterback's coach when Anthony Lynn was in LA and got Justin Herbert going was Pep Hamilton. We can cross-reference that and check that right now. I think it should be a LA. Yep, LA Chargers 2020. Pep Hamilton was quarterback's coach. I remember that year. They were on Hard Knocks. Pep Hamilton is a great teacher for quarterbacks. Great teacher for quarterbacks.
And guess what? He's the offensive coordinator at who right now?
Offensive
was at the coordinator before?
Yeah, offensive coordinator last year at Houston, so he's out of ball right now.
Mm-hmm. He's not
offensive coordinator for Houston.
Mm-hmm. Pass game coordinator, QB coach, like you said in LA. He even did a stint in the XFL. Was a DC Defender head coach and general manager. Was went to Michigan assistant head coach and passing game coordinator. Assistant coach for the Cleveland Browns, head QB coach there as well, offensive coordinator for the Indiana Colts. So I think he had a stint with Andrew Luck, if I'm not sure. I'm gonna double check. He also, matter of fact, what was the years Andrew Luck was at Stanford? You remember?
No.
Because
he might have been there. He might have been there with there. He might have been there with him.
Because he's with Stanford from 2011 to 2012. Let me do my research real quick.
Yeah, look it up real fast. But this is what I'm gonna say about Pep while Steve-O looks that up. Y'all don't throw tomatoes at me. He's been out of ball for a year. And I know you don't lose all your coaching prowess and all that other stuff in a year. Hell, I've been out.
He was coach
4 or 5 years. So he was there. He was there with Andrew Luck.
For college and pro.
So this is what I'll say about Pep. Bring Pep in. I love what he did. I remember watching that season of Hard Knocks, and I thought his philosophy and how he was teaching Justin Herbert, it was amazing. So this is what I say. Whatever they do, bring Pep in as the quarterback's coach at a minimum.
I'm about to say a quarterback coach at least.
At a minimum. Bring him in as quarterback's coach with Shane or who was my other top pick? Or Darryl.
Yeah.
But I wanted to take a look at him.
Hey, did you see what Chase Daniel said? He said, I'm available.
Yeah, Chase funny. Chase been putting his name in the hat for a lot of stuff. He actually put his name in to replace Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show too. So Chase kind of for the streets right now.
Yeah, he really is. But I really want him to get a job as I really want him to get a job as a QB coach. I really think he'd be a good QB coach.
Those are my two guys right there too, Aaron, Starkey. My bad, I started with your government name. Hey, he started out with his government name. I got to get used to his online. I like Pep as a quarterback's coach. That's my take. A name that's not a stranger to Bears fans. I'm gonna do it because it warrants doing. Boom, your boy Bill Laser. Talk to me, Steve-O.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. Hey, I went back and watched some rookie year tape of Justin, and his best games was with Bill was calling plays. That's all I'm gonna say. That's literally all I'm gonna say.
These are facts. Justin looked best with Bill calling plays during his whole career. Too bad Nagy wouldn't get out of Bill's way and really let him take over. Might have saved his job. Might have saved Nagy's job because Nagy still has a winning record. in the NFL. It might have saved his job if he would have got out of Bill's way. But Bill is a senior assistant down in Houston right now, and Bill may get a crack at the Texans offensive coordinator job.
Mm-hmm.
He's right
Especially if
there.
they'll keep Bobby.
Yeah, he's right there. Bobby's gone. Bobby's going to
You think
Washington.
so?
Yeah, he's going to Washington, New England, or
To
Atlanta.
be a head
Head
coach?
coach. Head coach.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
They announced Washington asked to interview him today.
So you think
Sloke is gone.
so they wasn't gonna ask EB to be the head coach to you?
At Washington, I heard
Yeah.
EB got a call to go to Atlanta today for interview.
Atlanta
That's
could use that culture.
that would be crazy.
Atlanta could use that culture. They need some tough nose, some tough love over there.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, the way the whole city is just a distraction for players. EB would be great in Atlanta. They
'Cause
need somebody.
he ain't finna tolerate y'all. Hey, I
Yeah,
saw you at the
y'all
club.
listen. Hey, dog, y'all can't be at Magic City all night.
We ain't having that.
Y'all
Y'all
can't
too
be.
trash.
Y'all can't-
Y'all too trash for that, bro.
No,
too trash.
there's no getting wings at Magic City the night before the game, or the Blue Flame, or what's the other one? I don't go to these establishments. You know what I'm saying?
Neither, so
I'm
I
just
wouldn't
letting
know.
you. I'm just going off of hearsay.
Anything with city at the end of it, you can't go to.
Right. But I want to throw it out there because y'all hear the name. But of these candidates, Bill, I like the familiarity with Justin, but he's not the top guy. He's not he's not even in my top 4. I'm just throwing the name out there because y'all are probably gonna hear it. But I wanted to put it out there. We haven't taken a look at it. We talked about him, but we can take a look at his resume.
Hey, the resume speaks for itself as well.
As an executive with the New England Patriots, Seattle Seahawks, LA Rams, LA Rams. So what are you going to get with that? Los Angeles Rams. He's a McVay guy. You're going to get a lot of outside, inside zone. You're going to get a lot of split zone. You're going to get outside, inside zone. You're going to get split zone. I don't know if you're going to get a whole lot of power concepts. I saw him run a trap play in last night's tape, so he got it in his bag. But that's what McVay believes in: outside, inside zone, split zone, multiple tight end sets. That whole thing where y'all see them run the zone and the tight end kind of comes across the formation. Sometimes they run the zone, sometimes they boot off the zone and let the tight end run behind the formation and get into the flat on some of flood concepts. That's McVay stuff. I thought McVay fell off a little bit after the Super Bowl, but I think that might have been due to personnel. He's reviving himself.
He was going. Everybody knew he was going to take a dip in personnel. They traded all their picks. They really went in for that Super Bowl, and they knew they was going to lose half of the people. Lost their Hall of Fame left tackle. Some people on offense. So yeah, it was going to take a dip.
All right, so I'm gonna give y'all my top 4 when we wrap this whole thing up. But Shane's definitely in there. Bevel's in there. Really, these are my top 4 right here.
I'll probably put Pep in there. That's my third.
You got Pep Pep in your third?
Yeah, it's my third. Trying to see. Everybody give me. You need to talk about Frank Reich because everybody, every time you hear Frank Reich, they be like, "Oh!" I'll be like, "Hold on now."
Hey man, it's just like this, bro. Frank Reich is a Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator. He got these head coaching jobs because he's a Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator. Some people, like your boy Vic Fangio, are not meant to be coordinators. I mean, head coaches. They're not meant to be head coaches. They're lifelong coordinators. And I think Frank Reich might fall in this category.
Yeah.
I think he's not I don't think he's a great leader of men. I saw him on Hard Knocks with the Colts. You know what I'm saying? He didn't even really inspire me, but at the same time, I don't know how Eberflus sounds in the locker room, and he's as corny as Frank Reich was standing in front of grown men. But as a coordinator, he did his thing. He won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. I'm just saying. Veteran play caller. He's going to give you a little bit of RPO game, but he's going to give it. He's going to mix it in as a off speed pitch to West Coast short intermediate West Coast style offense with zone concepts. You know what I'm saying? Some power concepts, but he's not going to major in the RPO game. Is what I'm getting at. He's not going to be a Cliff Kingsbury, who we'll look at next because some people called him out and asked him, like, Coach, why he didn't make your list? I'm gonna tell you in a second.
Oh Lord.
I like Frank Reich. Frank Reich's in my top 4, guys. Experience, Super Bowl winning OC. Yeah, he's had a rough go at being a head coach, but sometimes, again, you're not a good leader of men. Sometimes,
and that's all right.
And I believe Frank wanted C.J. Stroud. I believe him.
That's definitely more of his playing style. He likes taller quarterbacks.
If they would have got C.J. and think about this too, if we get Frank Reich, Josh McCown's coming with him.
Hey, I like Josh McCown.
If Frank gets another head coaching job, Josh should probably take over as offensive coordinator. I'm just saying, something to think about. It's part of the deal, right? Because guess what? When you're interviewing guys, especially these young guys, you got to be worried about the young guys moving on quickly. I'm not saying don't make the movie for that reason, but you need to take it into consideration. I'm just saying.
Gotcha.
Who did I say it because of that? I was pulling up because of Frank Reich. I was going to take a look at
Cliff. Hey,
I started to say something. It would have been totally inappropriate. I'm gonna keep it to myself.
See, that's God.
That's God. That's my wife says sometimes the voice of God sounds like your wife. I heard my wife right there when I was about to say what I started to say. And
God uses his voices in so many ways. You're like, don't you say that, boy?
Yeah, my wife just told me to shut up in my head. Don't say that because I started to say something about this selection. Here it is, man. USC. Listen, here's the thing, man. Cliff is going to get a job. Cliff is going to get a job. But here's the thing. It's personal with me, and I'm going to let you know. Cliff got the job in Arizona because Cliff is a high RPO guy. High RPO. RPOs and zone read is the foundation of his offense. It's the foundation. Now, I don't have to tell you guys this. Philosophically, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in zone read and RPOs. Y'all have heard me say this before. I don't believe in zone read and RPOs being the foundation of your offense.
Your core. I don't see how that's possible. I don't see how that's possible or sustainable.
The core of your offense to me has to be power gap, run concepts, zone inside, outside zone, right? Concepts. And you run your pass concepts off of that through play action and your obvious. The passing game is passing game. You just gotta have coverage beaters. You got to know how to smartly, and that's the coaching. That's really solving the coaching puzzle right there. You figure out what you believe in philosophically in the run game, like me, gap power concept first, then zone concept second, zone inside outside zone. You know what I'm saying? Smash, duo, fold, wham, all that other stuff. Those are preliminary. Those are, like nuanced stuff that I add later on, along with toss, along with jet sweeps and all that other stuff. But I wouldn't major in it. I wouldn't major in zone read and RPOs. And this is my problem with Cliff. But guess what? This is where the NFL is going, perhaps. And a lot of people are going to take a chance on Cliff because a lot of these RPO heavy quarterbacks are coming out, like Caleb Williams. Now, somebody might say, I like Caleb Williams. I want to match him with a Cliff Kingsbury coming out because I want him to be comfortable. Right? Or I'm gonna let him watch this. I'm gonna let Caleb Williams pick his offensive coordinator. I'm gonna bring his offensive coordinator with him to perhaps Washington or Chicago. God forbid. Hopefully not.
God for fucking
Bro,
did.
I don't want to. I'm telling you, I don't want to see that.
I just don't, because it's not going to be sustainable. They're going to figure it out, and then when they're going to figure out, I don't know. It's just going to be a shit show from that damn point.
I can't describe it better myself, Steve-O. Like
It's
they'll
going to
have
be a shit
they would
show.
have they would have early success. They would probably have some early success, but as soon as like what's going on right now with Jalen Hurts. Jalen hated Super Bowl run last year, but that heavy RPO stuff, unless you're Lamar, unless you got Lamar Jackson back there, which y'all can debate in the chat whether Caleb Williams is Lamar Jackson-esque, but Jalen Hurts
No.
isn't it. Jalen Hurts is as dynamic as Lamar Jackson. So Lamar Jackson can get away with a lot more in the heavy RPO system that he runs compared to Jalen Hurts has to be on schedule, and his play calling has to be a lot more perfect than what Todd Munkins is in Baltimore.
Has to be.
You want a guy that majors on heavy RPO stuff in Chicago, then this is your guy. I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't. I
And
think they don't.
Go ahead.
No, I just think people don't realize how easy it is to beat it. like you said,
Right.
you're going to have
play.
I don't. Go ahead.
Play man press coverage.
Press coverage. Don't bring that damn safety down, and you Gucci. Like that's all you got to do.
You go bump and run. You go press coverage. You start beating up the wide receivers. Stick the ball. They can't stick the ball in his belly and just throw it. That's exactly. RPO. I'm pressing the man. If I interrupt the timing or the routes of the wide receivers, it's done. And guess what? In the NFL, they not scared to press you. You can get away with that in college because these cornerbacks and these defensive coordinators are afraid to play press coverage. They're afraid they're going to get burnt.
And coach, what happened in that Utah game? Because I know you watched it.
I'm just saying. We're gonna look at that. I'm gonna get to it.
What happened in that Notre Dame game, coach?
I ain't gonna. We gonna get to it.
I'm just saying, like I be trying to tell people.
When I do the Caleb Williams film review, we gonna get to it. I'm not even giving it away. I know how you stop RPO game. I don't like it. Depending on when is the stadium gonna be done.
Right, especially if you try to do that. You try to do it here now on the lake.
When is you talking about going multiple spread? Y'all saw it when Kyler Murray came to Chicago, and we didn't even have a bad night. That's the same offense.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same offense and the same type player.
Smoke.
I'm telling y'all, if that's what you want, then I'm telling you, I have no reason to lie to you. I have no reason to lie to you in the show. I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not even what they call it. I'm not even monetized. I don't have no reason to lie to you. I love football, and it's not the type of football I want to see in Chicago.
They scored 16 points on us on using that philosophy, bro.
It's not
they scored 60. It don't work.
It's not the style of our city. It don't match, bro. It's not who we are as a people. I'm just saying, if y'all want Cliff, if this is what I will say, if y'all get Cliff, Justin can run this offense with Cliff's offense, but if y'all get Cliff, go ahead and give me Caleb.
Yeah,
because they together right now. They know each other. Go ahead and do it. Run it. But I'm telling you, I don't want it.
Yeah,
I don't like it. Will I not watch the team? Because would I not cover the team and watch the team because they doing it? I'm gonna cover and watch the team, but I'm gonna be on their head. I'm gonna be on their.
I'll be on their head. We're gonna have a headache doing it.
I'm gonna be on their head like I'm gonna be on Justin's head, and whoever the new offensive coordinator is next year, if they don't have it together by week 6.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be on their head. No, I'm not. I'm telling you, I'm announcing it now. If you got 6 weeks, what Jay-Z said in one song, y'all got 6 weeks to get y'all together. I'm gonna be on y'all head.
For real. It's we like I said, we just said it on space so many times. Hey, the playoffs is what we looking at next year, no matter who the quarterback is. No
Whoever the
matter who the
coordinator.
offensive coordinator is, no matter who the QB coach is, passing game coordinator, I don't care.
Last
No
guy.
matter what. Yeah, but go ahead and break down EB real quick.
I'm gonna give you a crack at it.
To me,
Yep.
EB, we all know it. Um, tough nose coach. Um, I think one of the main things I hear about him is especially over maybe the past year or so is that he could get very pass heavy. I mean pass happy. And
Hmm.
I don't know, like maybe sometimes, but also did feel like that's what he had to deal with, especially in Washington. But if you like I said, Eric is the type of guy. He fits our city one for sure. Like he's very tough nosed, he's very direct, and like I think one of the main reasons why he's not being hired as a head coach is because most people can't handle him.
Right.
Most people he's gonna be on your neck in training camp. That's
It's,
just the type of coach he is.
it's cool when
And
Bill do it though. I'm
but
just saying.
exactly, it's cool when everybody else do it. It's people when their hands look like this and their skin look like it is cool when they do it. But like I said, he's not gonna play with y'all. He's sitting there, and but the thing is, he ain't scared to tell upper management either how he feel either. So if we were to look into him and he was looking at to come here, I think him and George would clash. I
Yeah.
really think he would clash because he's gonna sit there and be like, dude, you hired me to do my job. Don't sit there and try to tell me what to do.
This is a hard one for me, man. This
It
is a
is
hard one
hard.
for me because I understand all the emoticons and conversations around EB's personality. Um, well, let me go back to this. I'll say this: the CMO match is not a match. First of all, I'm gonna say that off
No,
rip.
it's not a match at all. No.
It's not a match at all. From a history standpoint and relationship standpoint. So I'm gonna go back to that. It's not a match. Uh, CMO probably has more diversity in a run game background than EB.
Way so.
I feel like EB is gonna come in and be just outside, inside zone guy. He's not gonna
Yeah.
he's not gonna be a gap power guy.
That's typically
So
what he ran in KC.
yeah. He's gonna be his numbers are up there in the RPO game too. Not he's not RPO dominant, but he mixes it in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's give and take. Y'all know I'm a gap power guy. So that's the foundation of everything I do. So I'm biased in that sense. But I like the zone game. If he runs counters off of his inside outside zone game, then I'll let it slide that he doesn't run power. I give him a pass. Or he ain't running that much. He's much more mature in the passing game than people give him credit for. Um,
Mm-hmm.
in designing his pass concepts and beating coverages than people give him credit for. Notice I'm talking about this football schematic stuff. Because one thing I'm gonna tell y'all that I've committed to silently that I'm not gonna do with even with Caleb Williams, people send me him. I think I have tweeted the tweet where he was crying in the stands to his mom and stuff like that when it first happened, but I came off of that. I'm not listen, I'm not going after the young man's character like that because I don't know him. I don't know. I'm this is just my personal standard. I'm not retweeting the posting, the press conference. I wanna go lay with my puppy, cuddle with my dog. I'm not doing that. Um and I'm not gonna I'm kind of trying to stay away from that with EB too. Like, you know, he's a tough guy. He's a tough coach.
Mm-hmm.
Some people need that. What I don't agree with is I just don't agree with berating players verbally and all that other stuff. So if that's rumored to be happening, that's true. I don't want the guy. I don't think personality wise that goes with Justin. It doesn't go with DJ. DJ DJ is
Cool,
a lead,
calm, and collected.
cool, calm, collected, lead by example. Justin, the same kind of guy. Um, that works if you maybe if a wide receivers coach, O line coach, or D-line coach, something like that. But attitude reflects leadership. You want your quarterback to be relaxed. You want him to play. You want him to play relaxed. You don't want a guy that's a rah-rah hyped up guy,
Mm-hmm.
overly hyped. You know what I'm saying? So that's
unless
why.
unless the coach from what's it Baker Mayfield is your coach is your quarterback.
Yeah, yeah,
He'll
yeah, yeah,
love BB.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's a good match.
Yeah.
So EB's in my top four, but like barely, bro. Because I wouldn't be mad, but I'd be a little bit
You be
nervous.
worried. Y'all about to say you'll be worried.
I'd be a little bit nervous, and it's not about the game day stuff. It's about the soft skills, the ability to be able to relate to players where they'll listen to you and be a good teacher. Because I look, my coaching style is teaching. I'm not a yeller. I'll yell after I taught. That's my rule. If I've taught you something and I've taught you several times how to do it the right way, and say you get out there on game night and you just decide I'm gonna forget everything I was coach. Oh, I'm on your
Um,
ass.
You can
I'm
yell
on
that
you.
now.
I'm on you. Most of the times in those situations, it's not even me yelling at you. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm like, come sit with me. I'm gonna play the dude behind you and tell him simply all I need you to do is what we practice in the game. I practice. I need you to do that and just do that, and you can be in it because I got to be able to trust you. Remember, I can't go out there and play for you. So if I call something, if I call a power play, you decide I'm not gonna pull at the sense of urgency that the pool play calls. You just gonna, you know what I'm saying, bounce back there and lollygag behind the sitter, and you're not gonna be aggressive. Then I'm be like, come sit with me and tell the guy that sits behind you, just do this one thing. So I'm just not.
Mhm.
I'm just. eh, eh. I might have three guys after the night: Bevel, Waldron, and Wright. You know what I'm saying?
Not a bad list. Not a bad list at all. Especially no. Let me. It's a good list. I would say the casuals will say not a bad list because they don't understand where you're coming from.
Right.
So, but I understand exactly why you picked those people because, like I said, SEMO, like I said, you whatever the OC does, you got to match it up with SEMO. That's the
That's
most
what I'm.
important thing.
So that's why if we went Clint, I wouldn't be shocked and surprised. I would understand why. If we went Mike LaFleur, I wouldn't be shocked or surprised. Those are my dark horses. I wouldn't surprise. But I'm really like banking on Bevel and Waldron into in that order. Bevel, Waldron, Wright. My dark horses are Kubiak and LaFleur. Wouldn't that be story and conversation in Chicago? Little brother versus little brother going head to head in the league's oldest rivalry, the LaFleur boys. Somebody laughed at me when early in the season. I'm like, hey, if you can coach, you can coach. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's just 1 week where he has to be your arch enemy. Somebody said do Jim Caldwell. And I'm gonna do that one because y'all asked for it in the comments, but Jim last night, and it was the reason why I left Jim Caldwell off my list. Y'all probably gonna see it. Y'all know I don't do anything by accident, so I'll do it. You
Was
know
it
what I'm saying?
because was his age a big factor?
It's I think it boiled down to time away from ball, bro.
That too, yeah.
It's like if you look at it, he's a special advisor to the Panthers right now.
All right. Yeah, that's not really coaching. That's not coaching at all, really.
He's senior assistant with the Panthers, special advisor, assistant head coach, quarterbacks coach. What is that now? 5 years ago, 4 years ago in Miami?
Yeah, that's too long.
Head coach in Detroit. He hadn't called plays since 2013.
Yeah, that's way too long.
He hadn't called plays in 10 years, bro.
That's way too long.
That's why he didn't make my list. He hadn't called plays in 10 years. He checks the marks of veteran coach that has offensive coordinator experience, but he ain't called plays in 10 years. And I'm not saying you can't jump back in there and get the feel for the game and all that other stuff. He could pull it off. I could be very well wrong, but I,
It's
I,
definitely an ad.
I'm not putting you in the top, bro. I'm not putting you in the top of the list. I like the I like these other guys that much better. That much better. And of this list, Bevel first. No, it's close between Bevel and Waldron. Close, right? I'm almost willing to say I'll put the young guns in there, Kubiak, Lafleur, before Eric. Now, I just feel I'm starting to feel my gut is telling me my I don't know how Ryan like you think about how Ryan and personality is. He would be a nice counterbalance to Flus. You know what I'm saying? Being
Mm-hmm.
all laid back and stuff. But you think about how Ryan is, and Ryan got the inside scoop on it. He was with him in KC, so you know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I don't know. Bro. AC, I tried, bro. It's just my gut. I don't like it, bro. I don't like it. You know what I'm saying?
10,
Like
10 years is a hard thing to sell on somebody. 10
10,
years,
10 years, bro.
like 5 is already hard enough. 10 is like you might as well. That's why you would see your advisor. Like it's almost like it's spoken for. I can't even hear you, coach.
I accidentally cut my
Okay.
mic off.
Okay.
I'm trying to see what's coming up for us. Steve, I'm gonna keep my ear to the ground, see who else gets interviews over this next couple weeks, and we'll
Yeah.
focus
Too.
on that on our show. I'm actually finna hit the casino this weekend, my boy. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
I'm finna slide. Me
Hit
and me
that,
and wife, me
hit,
and wifey finna
hit
slide.
that boat.
Yeah, we ain't hit the boat, but we finna slide. Um, so I'm not gonna do a show this weekend probably because I need a little getaway with Boo Thing. And but what I want to do is next Tuesday when I get back to it, if we don't have breaking news about a offensive coordinator like that, we're gonna get into this. We're gonna get into these quarterbacks tape next week. How about that? Starting on Tuesday, we into these quarterbacks tape. Hopefully you got time to hang out with me, Steve O. You know what I'm saying? We can get into it. I'm gonna start with your boy Caleb Williams, and I'm gonna do the big four quarterbacks. I'm breaking them down. I'm breaking down their system. They're coming out of them. How I feel like they translate to the NFL. Let you know who I feel is the most NFL ready quarterback of the group. I can't wait to get to Drake May because I haven't done his. I haven't done Jaden Daniels. And what's the other guy? Michael Penix. I know his.
Michael.
I know Michael Penix coach, so I know what he about. You know what I'm saying?
I
So I know.
will say, I will say, I've been doing a little bit of deep dive. I did a little deep dive in Drake, and I did a little deep dive in JJ just because of the whole thing. Because I did come out and say that I feel like JJ was the most pro ready quarterback,
Mhm.
but I'm kind of leaning towards Drake right now though.
Yeah, I can't wait to get into those guys. We're gonna do quarterbacks. I think I'm gonna go to the receivers next because I want to see the gap between if there's a gap in between MHJ like that and the rest of the guys. Then I'm gonna get to the
Mhm.
tackles. We're gonna go down. We're gonna keep it going all off season, going leading up to the draft. We're gonna stay locked in, man. Oh, by the way, I got some positions I'm looking to fill as part of the team. I'm looking for a graphics person aka slash producer, a female Bears fans is on air personality. We trying to grow the team. We trying to grow the gang. I think I put in other positions out there that I put on X that we trying to grow the team and all that other stuff. I don't know how this coaching gig or coaching opportunity gonna go, so I need to grow the team so I can keep things moving. Cause I'm gonna be
There you
if I'm on the sidelines, y'all know I'm gonna be
go.
tired. I'm gonna be gone. Be tied up. I'm gonna be tied up, man. So it is what it is, man. Y'all, thanks for hanging out with us, man. I'm your boy, Coach T. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy, Steve O. Steve O, where you about these days, man? Where you? What side of
Man,
town you on?
I'm Southside. I'm always Southside, but yeah,
Southside Steve.
Southside Steve. I'm always Southside. I ain't as South as where I grew up in. You know, we had to
Uh,
get up out of there, but we still, we almost suburban. I would say
that's what's
almost,
that's what's up, man. I hope you staying warm up there, man.
bro. Bro, we finna get this snow tomorrow. It's supposed to start. tomorrow. Like I was in this motherfucker. I was talking to my mom. Like, yeah, make sure you give me this, because I'm finna be stuck.
That's right. Yeah, you finna be in the house for a minute.
Yeah.
But
It's
anyway,
all good.
I'm your boy Coach T. That's my man Southside Steve. We in the building, man. Listen, no show. We back Tuesday. So, but catch me on Twitter. Steve, give me your at. Catch me on Twitter at
Man,
Bears360 underscore Coach T. You can catch Steve O at.
Steve-O speaks. IGX, no matter what.
We definitely gonna be on the X and Twitter making noise out there. So catch us out there. Listen, if you are watching this on the playback, do me a favor, get us to over 2,400 subs. We definitely got to get these numbers up for the all seasons out going in the next season. We're gonna run this thing up and we're gonna make it happen. So until then, man, like I said, I'm your boy Coach T. That's Steve O, Southside Steve, and we're gonna see y'all next time. Peace and bear down.
Peace.